Hello, my name is Alex Neer. I am the Vice President of Business Development here at Maxx Merchants, and today I'm going to take you through a quick overview of the virtual terminal or payment gateway of Maxx Merchants. You'll notice here on the left-hand side you've got links for all the features and functionality that have been enabled in the demo account. If what you're seeing looks a little bit different than what we're seeing here, that's just because we've got all of the modules enabled in the demo account, and more often than not we only enable the modules that you're going to use or are interested in using in your deployment. So if you see something here that's of interest, let your rep know and they can certainly talk with you about getting it turned on. So first thing we're going to do is look at the credit card sale. Here we've got a few options. I'm going to click on the sale. That will bring up a screen for information that needs to be captured to complete a credit card sale. By default, everything that you see here, with the exception of a few fields, has been enabled for capture. We realize that every business is going to be a little bit different on what fields they need to capture. So what we've done is enabled you as a user to kind of define what you want to capture. So clicking on this cog here brings us into a screen where we can either enable or disable fields from view. So what we can do is enable a couple more here, click the save, and you'll notice that we've got those fields available now. So that's really nice because you can, again, shorten this form up to just the fields you want to capture for the sale. And that obviously will speed up the sales process and get people in and out much quicker. You'll notice the red asterisk is an indication of the required fields. We've only got 3 in there in the demo account. Some others that I typically recommend would be card security code and then card billing address. Capturing card billing address just enables you to check that information against what the bank has on file, and that's just a very low-level fraud service to determine, hey, is the person giving the information actually the person that is on record at the bank? So I'm going to scroll down to the bottom here and just show you some merchant-defined fields. This is a unique feature for our gateway. It enables you the ability to kind of define fields in here that aren't necessarily fields that are typically captured within the credit card sale. So we've got invoice number, color, and length as merchant-defined fields. I'll show you in a little bit on how you set those up. A nice thing is that these are actually capturable and searchable, and I'll show you that as well. I'm going to scroll back up here. We've got a couple other authorize and capture. Those are split out with the sale link. The authorization of the funds and then the capturing of the funds is done at the same time. We've kind of split those out for merchants that do order fulfillment or ship orders. So typically in those situations, you'd want to authorize the funds when the order has been made and then capture the funds when the order has actually been shipped. So we've broken that out for specific instances if your business functions like that. Void and refund, obviously self-explanatory. The void would be used if the settlement process hasn't been run, and the refund if the settlement process has run. And the settlement process is just that particular process that actually collects the funds from the bank and deposits them in your bank account. So the general rule of thumb is if you're on the same business day as the order's been captured, you can typically void that order out of the system. If it's next business day or longer, typically refund needs to happen just simply because those funds have been collected and deposited in your account. And I'll go into a little bit more on the void and capture features and functionality within the reporting tab. Next on down the line here is electronic check. Click on the sale. This enables your business to collect checks electronically instead of having the customer send you the check. You then take the check down to your bank, deposit it, and then wait for those funds to clear. Just speeds up the process by enabling you to capture the routing number and the account number for that particular customer and run that check electronically. We've got void and refund available in there as well. Next section here is the recurring billing section or feature of the payment gateway. If your business needs the ability to run a credit card multiple times over the course of a month, over the course of a quarter, over the course of a year, we give you that ability within the recurring billing section. I'm going to click on the plans here. I've just got some default plans in here, 4 plans dependent upon which day of the billing cycle this particular customer would like to be billed. If we click on the add a plan, you'll kind of see the ability for us to add a plan really dependent on what amount you want to charge the customer every blank days or every day of the month, and then charge this customer X number of times. So really kind of feature rich on how you wanted to set up those particular parameters to bill that customer multiple times over the course of n number of days or months. Next, we're going to look at the Customer Vault. The Customer Vault is a module that allows you to store customer credit card information on our secure servers for retrieval later for future sales. This is important really nowadays with additional scrutiny from the credit card associations and the issuing banks that cardholder data be stored securely just to prevent fraud or theft of that information. So what we enable you to do, if you've got customers returning via your website or returning via the phone order, what you can do is come in here, click on these coins. That'll bring up the information on this particular customer's last sale and allow you to re-enter another sale. Nice thing you'll notice here is the credit card information is masked. That's important because you don't want this information to be accessible through other people within your organization to come in, copy this information down, use it fraudulently somewhere else. So that just ensures that you're masking this information and really allows you to be payment card industry data security standards compliant. That's a big buzzword in the industry, and if you want more information on that, please contact your rep. Next on down the line here is Certified PCI. PCI stands for Payment Card Industry. So what that has to do with, it's additional certification for payment card industry's data security. Some industries are a little bit more scrutinized than others and require a little bit more protection from liability for theft of cardholder information. So what that does, that Certified PCI does, is it just gives you additional certification for compliance within those standards that the associations and card issuers are mandating. Next, we've got iSpy Fraud. This is fraud detection software that we've kind of enabled you as the merchant to define the rules for credit cards that run either through your website. It's more often through a website. You can come in here and define, for instance, if daily attempted transaction amount exceeds a certain amount, then you can flag it for review or deny the transaction. So it's just more rules that you can kind of deploy on your website to scrutinize transactions to make sure that fraud is flagged early and you don't have a loss from fraudulent transactions on your site. Next, I'm going to jump down to the options link. We're going to click in there. These are just general options for you to come in and obviously change account information. If things change and you want to update that information, it's available to do so through the interface. If you want to enable other user accounts, give people in your organization access to the interface, but you want to limit what they can do, you can do that right within the user accounts. You can change the look and feel of the virtual terminal by changing the colors, adding your company logo. Under transaction options, we've got settlement schedule. This gives you the ability to come in and change when the actual settlement process kicks off. If your business operates on non-traditional hours, let's say, for instance, you are open till 10 o'clock and you want that settlement process to kick off at 11, you can come in here and define that. Merchant define fields, I'm going to click into there. That's where we have those fields that you as a merchant can define. I'm going to click in here on the length, and we're just going to change that to size. You can do it as a text box, checkbox, radio button, or select, and then obviously if you click select, then you would define what list values go in there. I'm going to click back on the text, click save. You'll notice that the interface is automatically updated with that change. So we'll click back into sale. I'm going to scroll quickly to the bottom, and you'll notice that size is now a capturable field. What's nice about this is now it becomes searchable as well. So I'm going to scroll back up, and I'm going to click on the Trans Reports link. In this screen, we've got the transaction snapshot at the top, which allows us to look at transactions as a part of a settlement batch. The search transactions in the second portion of the screen lets us search for individual transaction. These are all the fields that we're able to search on, and you'll notice that invoice number, color, and now size are actually searchable. So what we can do is come in and say if we want to look for green blazers size large that have been purchased, we can search those particular transactions only. A very nice feature. So now let's look at the actual transactions that they come back. I'm going to change our date back to 2002 just to ensure we've got some transactions to look at. Click submit. That's going to bring back all the transactions that are in the terminal itself. By clicking on the ID, that allows us to drill down into a particular order and see all the information that was captured for this particular order. You'll notice again, credit card information is masked. Also notice up here on the left-hand side, we've got both the void and refund links available to us. So what that tells us is that the settlement process has not kicked off for this particular transaction, so that's why we have the ability to void the transaction. If we're on the other side of the settlement process, that void link would not be available and we'd only be able to refund. So it's nice in that the interface kind of steers the user to what is the most appropriate use of void and refund. So that kind of concludes our quick overview of the virtual terminal. If there's anything in here that you need additional information on, please let your rep know and they'd be happy to go into further detail. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.